How many times has this happened to you? You study a new English word, maybe you even write it down in your notebook, and just a few days later, it's gone from your memory. You try to recall it, but your mind is blank. Don't worry. This is not because you have a bad memory. The real problem is the method most people use. Simply writing down lists of words and translations doesn't work. Our brain is not designed to memorize isolated information like that. Today, I'm going to show you several simple techniques to remember vocabulary forever. And the first one is probably the most fun. Don't just make lists, create stories. Your memory works best when there is a story, an image, or an emotion attached to the word. Let's take an example. If you write down apple equals a round fruit, you will forget it quickly. But imagine this. You are sitting on a bench in the park. The sun is shining. You take a bite of a sweet red apple, and you can almost taste it. Suddenly, the word apple becomes a little scene in your mind. That scene is unforgettable. The same is true for other words. Take rain. Don't just think water falling from the sky. Picture yourself running home with wet clothes, hearing the raindrops hitting your jacket, maybe laughing because you forgot your umbrella. That experience makes the word stick. This is the first secret. Transform every word into a small story or a picture. Lists are easy to forget, but stories and experiences stay with you forever. Now that you know how powerful stories and images are, there is another important step: repetition in time. Even the most vivid story can fade away if you never see the word again. Our brain needs reminders, and the best method for this is called spaced repetition. What does that mean? It's very simple. Instead of repeating the same word 10 times in one day and then forgetting it, you review it a little today, a little tomorrow, and then again after a few days, a week, and later a month. Each time you review, the word becomes stronger in your memory. It's like building a muscle. You don't go to the gym once and expect to be strong forever. You train regularly, and little by little, your strength grows. Vocabulary works the same way. Let's say you learn the word window. On the first day, you make a story about opening a window and feeling the fresh air. On the second day, you quickly review it. A few days later, you test yourself again. After a week, you try to use it in a sentence. Each review is like another brick, and soon the word becomes part of your long-term memory. The key is not to study harder, but to study smarter. 10 minutes of spaced repetition is more powerful than 1 hour of random cramming. When you combine this method with stories and images, you give your brain the perfect recipe to remember words forever. So far, you've learned that creating stories makes words easier to remember, and that spaced repetition strengthens them over time. But there's another secret ingredient that makes vocabulary unforgettable: pictures and emotions. Our brain is not just a storage machine for facts. It is deeply emotional and visual. Think about your strongest memories. Maybe a birthday, a holiday, or even a small accident. Why do you remember them so clearly? Because they are connected to strong images and emotions. You can still see the faces, the colors, maybe even smell the air or hear the sounds. That's how powerful emotions are. When you learn new words, try to add a picture and a feeling to each one. For example, if the word is coffee, don't just imagine a cup on a table. Imagine the smell, the warmth of the mug in your hands, and the feeling of comfort as you drink it on a rainy morning. Suddenly, coffee is not just a word, it's an experience. This works even better if you exaggerate. If the word is giant, don't imagine a normal tall man. Picture a huge giant walking through your city, stepping over cars, and people running away in surprise. The stronger and crazier the image, the deeper it stays in your memory. And the same rule applies to emotions. If the word is happy, think of the last time you laughed so much your stomach hurt. Connect the word to that genuine joy. The brain doesn't forget emotions easily. So whenever you learn vocabulary, don't just read it, feel it, and see it. A boring list becomes alive, and words will follow you everywhere. We've seen how stories, repetition, and emotions make vocabulary stronger. But here's the next step. If you want a word to truly stay in your mind, you must use it in real sentences. Think of vocabulary as seeds. If you just keep the seed in your pocket, nothing happens. But if you plant it in the ground and let it grow, it becomes part of your life. Words are the same. They need to be planted in sentences. Let's say you learn the word journey. Don't stop at the definition. Make a sentence. My journey to the mountains was amazing. Say it out loud. Write it in your notebook. Use it in a short story. When you connect the word to your own life, it suddenly becomes real and unforgettable. This is why children learn so fast. They don't just memorize isolated words. They hear them in sentences every single day. Imagine a child learning the word dog. They don't sit down with a list. They hear, "Look at the dog," or "The dog is running." The context makes the word stick. You can do the same. Whenever you learn new vocabulary, challenge yourself to use it in at least 1 or 2 sentences about your day. If the word is delicious, you might say, "This sandwich is delicious." Simple, but powerful. Every time you use the word, you create another connection in your brain. And remember, reading and listening are important, but speaking and writing are what lock the word into your memory. The more you use it, the more it becomes a natural part of your English. By now, you know how to create stories, repeat words in time, add emotions, and use sentences. But there is one mistake many learners still make. They try to learn too many words at once. It feels productive to memorize 50 new words in one day. But the truth is, most of them will disappear from your memory tomorrow. The real secret is consistency. It is far better to learn just 5 new words today and review them tomorrow than to overload your brain with dozens of words you'll quickly forget. Think of it like eating. If you eat too much at once, your body can't process it, and you feel sick. But if you eat small meals every day, your body becomes stronger and healthier. Vocabulary is no different. For example, imagine you decide to learn 5 words a day. In 1 week, that's 35 words. In 1 month, that's 150. And in 1 year, more than 1,800 words. And you will actually remember them, because you reviewed and used them. This slow and steady approach is much more powerful than learning in big, stressful chunks. And it also keeps you motivated. When you master a few words each day, you feel small victories. Those victories give you confidence, and confidence pushes you to keep going. So don't chase numbers. Focus on progress. 5 words a day may not feel like much, but over time, it will transform your English forever. We've reached the final step. You already know how to create stories, repeat words over time, connect them with pictures and emotions, use them in sentences, and learn them in small daily doses. But there's one more powerful tool to make sure words stay with you forever. Testing yourself. Many learners think testing is only for school exams, but in fact, self-testing is one of the best learning strategies you can use. Why? Because when you try to recall a word from memory, your brain works harder. That effort strengthens the connection, like exercising a muscle. Reading or repeating is like looking at a picture of a bicycle. Testing is like actually riding the bike. That's when you really learn. Here's how you can do it. Cover the translation and try to say the meaning. Write short quizzes for yourself. Use flashcards or let an app shuffle the words for you. Even better, ask a friend or family member to check your sentences. The important thing is to pull the word out of your memory, not just see it on a page. And don't be afraid to make mistakes. Every mistake is just another chance to strengthen the word. In fact, research shows that struggling a little before remembering helps you remember much longer. So, make testing part of your routine. 5 minutes of active recall every day can do more than an hour of passive reading. When you test yourself, you prove to your brain that the word matters. And once your brain knows that, it won't let go. So here's the truth. You don't need a perfect memory to learn English. You don't need to be a genius. What you really need is the right method and a little bit of consistency. If you follow these steps, creating stories, using repetition, adding pictures and emotions, speaking in real sentences, learning just a few words each day, and testing yourself, you will remember vocabulary not for a week, not for a month, but for life. Every word you learn is like a brick in the house of your English. At first, it might feel small, but step by step, brick by brick, you are building something amazing. And one day, you will look back and realize, I can really speak English. I can really use these words. So don't give up. Trust the process. Keep going. The words you learn today will stay with you forever, and they will open doors you never imagined before.